Hi, I'm Julie Bastide, and I'm joined today by Sherri Arndt, my coworker. Hi, Sherri.
Hello.
It's good to be together.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about what really matters today, and that's praying consistently with a prayer partner or in a small group. So our personal prayer time is important, right? The time that we spend alone with God, those quiet moments, those conversations we have throughout our day talking to God. They're so important. I'm not saying don't do that.
Yes.
But I'm saying, have you considered having a prayer partner or praying in a small group and the benefits and the blessing that can be? But Jesus talks about praying together. And in Matthew 18, verse 19, he says, "Again, I tell you that if two of you on earth agree about anything you ask for, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where two or three come together in my name, there I am with them." So here he is encouraging us to pray in community with one another. And so what happens then when we invite someone else into our prayer life? What's that look like?
It's a sweet and beautiful thing to hear someone pray for you and just
Definitely.
really take your needs before the throne of God. It's just such encouragement. And sometimes our life can get so busy and overwhelming, family responsibilities and things, and we just can't think very clearly.
Yes.
And so it's nice to have this community to come around you to say, you're not alone. You know, you do not have to be strong all by yourself. You know, we are here. And Galatians 6:2 tells us that we are to carry one another's burdens. And so when we do that, we are fulfilling God's commands in being able to come by and support one another.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing that becomes of that are these deep relationships.
So important because we all long for those relationships and to be known and to know others. And so when you pray consistently with someone, you also begin to notice some patterns that begin to develop. It's really a spiritual discipline that happens in our lives. You begin to see God move in your life and in your prayer partner's life. And so that's a beautiful thing to experience that together. And your faith grows. It's increased by praying for one another and seeing answers or
prayer,
just being in that relationship. Your faith grows, you become more thankful, and you're putting into practice on a consistent basis that discipline, and that builds your faith muscle, right? It strengthens it. And Romans 12:15 tells us that we are to rejoice with those who rejoice and to mourn with those who mourn. So that's a community thing right there, that we're to be together with that. And a prayer partner just gives space for that, space for those, both of those things, celebrating promotions and breakthroughs and healing and all those things.
Restoration in families.
Oh, relationships, big things, right. But also sitting in grief with someone and disappointment, and it doesn't mean that you have to have the answer.
Right.
You're just there. You're there with them, and that's important. That's just comforting right there.
Yeah.
So we don't have to have all the answers, but it's a blessing just to be there with someone.
Yeah. It really is a gift when someone has been through something that you've been through and they can come alongside you and just really encourage you to say, you know what, I've been there.
Right.
And God is faithful. And let me take you into scripture and let me share with you what he has taught me to do. And that's just a joy to be able to have someone, and just an encouragement to have someone to walk with you who's been there and done that.
That's so good. Right, so as I mentioned earlier, that this consistency of a prayer partner, that it's building this spiritual discipline. And also when you're setting up a time to pray with someone, like you're expected to show up, right? So,
exactly.
so
Accountability.
Accountability. So there's that good, that builds this good rhythm of showing up and being there for someone. Even like when you don't feel like it, it's a good thing to show up. And then your prayer life becomes less sporadic, right? It becomes just more consistent and more
genuine. It's like a conversation that's just naturally happening that you can develop.
Yep. And your dependence on God just increases, your trust in him and your faith in him. And so hopefully we've encouraged you, if you don't have a prayer partner, to find a prayer partner. What a blessing it is. What an encouragement, not only to someone else, but to yourself as well. And if you are having troubles finding someone, here at the Christian Working Woman, we have a prayer program called Anchored in Prayer. It's a community of women that meet weekly for prayer. And if you'd like to learn more and join one of these prayer groups, I encourage you to visit our website at christianworkingwoman.org.